Hey, what's happening, guys? I'm here. Everything good? Uh-oh. Let me make sure that's muted. Make sure everything's good. Okay, Twitch stream is up, and we're good. We're good. What's happening, guys? Welcome. Welcome to the Vodka stream. It is Friday. Faux show. We're here. We made it. We made it to the end of the week. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? Stallone, Ryan, Eric. What's going on, Niner? Will, Jose, Jacob. Couldn't even keep the secret of who the guest was. Oh, shut up. You're always there to bust my balls, aren't you, Jacob? Jeez. What's going on, Ozzy? Yes, TGI Friday for sure. What's going on, Michele? Robert, Enzo. Saying hi to all you guys. Welcome. It's Friday. It's time to pour them drinks. Got the vodka flowing. Guys, I'm going to have to... I got to make a confession right now, okay? I'm going to make a confession right now. I went back to Smirnoff. That's right. I did Tito's. I definitely did Tito's. What's going on, Mr. Everts? Rowdy. No simping allowed. Come on, guys. Let's be nice tonight. What's going on, Mohammed? I see you. But no, I went back to the Smirnoff, guys, because I think one of the reasons why I had that really bad hangover that one Sunday when I did my Sunday morning hangover stream, which I will do this Sunday, but hopefully won't be hungover. And I was really just out of it, out for the count for a bit. I think it had to do with the Tito's, man. It's not Tito's. I'm back to the Smirnoff. Smirnoff, I just don't get the hangover, man. I don't. So cheers. Yeah, I went back to it, but I also did get some Jim Beam. You know, tomorrow is whiskey day, apparently. One of my friends told me. So maybe I'll be sipping some whiskey. And I'm thinking about doing a live watch tomorrow too. I think that's going to be the case. So I don't know. So cheers, guys. Yes, Infinity. I was born in the darkness, molded by it. Yo, what's going on, Eric? Here's plain speaking. Yes, I love that. You always say that. Here's to plain speaking and clear understanding. Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I think, I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a Batman movie. I don't know. To me, I'm thinking there should be let's do one of the Batman movies. Not BVS, but I don't know. Maybe Tim Burton's original Batman. Tim Burton's original Batman. Tim Burton's Batman. I don't know. Batman 89, maybe Batman Begins, or maybe just something random. I don't know. Hey, there's Miss Amanda. She's here. Miss Amanda's here. She's here, so now all you guys can focus your energy on her. That's right. Look at that. She be there. She said she was going to join tonight. There actually might be a couple other friendlies out there. But yes, guys, I do have a guest tonight. I said that. I told you guys that during the week with Film Junkee Live. And yeah, I was gonna keep it a secret because I kind of like doing that. But I think I'm gonna do that with, I don't know, with other guests, you know, like you never know when Mr. Colbert's gonna come on. He's in the chat though, at least. Batman Forever, that'd be interesting. Don't miss your shot, Dave. Don't miss my shot. Okay. Yeah, Batman Forever. We could lead up to that. Maybe I'll do Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin. What? No, it's not Amanda. Man, it's not. It's in the title there, guys. Come on. It's in the title. Anybody? Hey, Fear Jason, you're there. You're there at the Twitch stream. That's good. But I mean, one of the things I'm going to be talking about my guest tonight, Zia. She's an up and coming Twitcher, if that's what you call it, and nerdy girl, gamer, everything. We'll talk about things nerdy and get to know her. I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to do with my vodka stream, which I just wanted to grow, get more guests, more off the cuff guests. It doesn't have to be everybody who's in like the little circle that I am. I mean, of course, I enjoy talking to those guys. Next week, I'll have two other guests, hopefully, I think, who have not been on the show. I've been on the stream. So, and then we'll have, of course, the panel. I'm going to bring on the panel too, the panel of dudes, okay? The normal dudes, you know, the guys that you're used to seeing. But I think tonight we'll just keep it simple. Okay, we had come on, guys. We had a 3-hour vodka stream last Friday with a full panel, and that was awesome. I mean, of course, that was a whole lot of fun. Thank you to the Suicide Squad, the DC Films Suicide Squad cast, the Squad cast. Tim and Scott, thank you to them for coming on. What's going on? What's going on, Giovanni? Justice for Val Kilmer. I know, poor guy, man. His health, man. I tell you what. I was thinking about doing. Yeah, see, look at that. There you go, guys. Amanda's thinking about doing her channel, so support it. I think you guys would. Absolutely, right? But anyways, I just wanted to, expand the horizon. And since I've been, of course, trying to jump into the Twitch sphere, she'll probably have some more knowledge to talk about with all that. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be a good time. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Eric, for, of course, recommending. And we'll get to all that in a little bit here. We'll bring her on a bit. But, of course, let me talk to you guys. Well, first off, I've been enjoying my my days off because I told you guys that I think I told you guys on the Wednesday Film Junkee Live that I got temporarily furloughed, I guess, for my job because work kind of seized up a little bit, kind of slowed down. And they were just like, hey, we just need you to stay home for a bit. You could use your time off, your paid time off. That's totally fine and everything. And I was actually like, cool, especially since I was doing all that field work, up in the mountains, doing a lot of just exhausting exercise and everything. And I actually might have Monday off too. I might not be going back to work till who knows, probably like Wednesday, the earliest, I'm thinking. So I'm just going to take advantage of my days off. That's for damn sure. What'd you say? Hey, Dave, last week, the Squad Cat guys plus yeah, I know. That was great. And like I said, I'm going to hopefully have two gentlemen. The two gentlemen, I'm not even going to keep it a secret. The two guys that made the redub trailer, I'm going to try to get those guys on next week. And that's the thing. Okay. That's the thing. Fossil. Yeah, I don't game, but I could very easily. Okay. You guys don't know. Like I grew up on Nintendo. I grew up on Sega Genesis. I grew up with 64. I mean, I can't tell you when it came to playing 007 GoldenEye, I played that game. I tried to beat all the modes on every mission, every level, or whatever the hell they had it on that game. Perfect Dark. I got into that one. Of course, the Batman Arkham games, the first two, I got into those big time. The fact of the matter is, though, I'm a busy guy. We kind of covered this a little bit on Wednesday, that I'm just a busy guy right now. And if I were to buy myself a console and jump into that, oh, man, the lack of videos there would be. Yeah. So right now, it's like, I trust me, if I get to a point where I can do all this, where I can have do gaming and do streaming with the gaming, I will. And I'm gonna actually, that's one of the reasons why I want to bring the guest on tonight, because she's of course very familiar with that. And Eric has some more. Yeah, she's best known for. Yeah, we'll get to all that stuff. We'll get to know her. That's what I want to. That's what I want to do with this laid back. Hey man, pour a drink. Let's just relax and let's just have a chat, okay? Getting to know you, getting to know what all about you, Anybody who's up and coming, I'm gonna get more people on here too. I don't know. We'll see what happens. More people that, hey, look, Mama Film Junkee on the stream tonight. Look at her. Thankfully, the last couple of times that she was on here, she was like, this is the only time I could see my son. But luckily, I saw her last Sunday, Mother's Day, had dinner. My brother made dinner, which was actually really delicious, surprisingly. No, it was good. It was delicious. I know we're supposed to do our distancing, but I think we're all pretty good. Mom, I don't think you have any symptoms. I think we're all good. Nothing's passed along. I think she's fine. But yeah, Mama Film Junkee right there under tall. Yeah, that's right. I totally just saying that right now. So there's 69 people. Well, now there's 71. 71. What George Carlin had a joke about 71 is a 69 with 2 fingers up your ass. Okay. My mom's in the fucking, she's watching this right now. And I just said that. Okay. That's what I love about the vodka stream. Laid back. You know, of course I've already had a pop or two, so I'm already relaxed. And that's totally a George Carlin joke right there. So, but yeah, it's good times, guys. Come on. This is why I said, you know, when you want to ask the personal questions, or just, you know, you want to ask the questions, it's all about the vodka stream. When I do Film Junkee Live, I'm mainly like about, hey, let's just talk about the news right now. So, anyways, okay. So, yes, that's right. It's all about diversifying the channel, man. Let's get some more voices out there. Get some more input. Get some more everything. You know, that's what I kind of want to do with all this live stuff, and I think it's a lot of fun, to be honest. Thank you, Mr. Ben, Mr. Everts. You're a good man. And whenever you guys want me to come on here, well, I need to get you guys on here, to be honest. You and Garza. I just, you know, can we get Garza to fix his internet connection? Can we do that, please? But no, I need to get you and Garza on here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just getting some prepared. Hold on. Okay. Now I need to get you and Garza on here. So we could talk to you guys about how you guys came to be, like I did with the Squadcast guys. So we'll work something out with that in a bit. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, you know, we'll probably have a nice long panel with everything. Yeah. But Garza, man, I hopefully by that time he'll have a better internet connection. I don't know. You can't even get Garza on your show? Jeez, what is that? What is that man doing? I know right now he's currently watching Dread. Finally, he hasn't watched Dread. And now he's finally watching Dread, which I think I might watch after this because I'm kind of on an Alex Garland kick right now. I want to watch. I want to watch all his shit, and I don't care what anybody says. But Dread is 100%. That is not maybe not 100%, but close to 100%. That's an Alex Garland movie. Okay, there's a whole big fucking weird stupid thing that happened behind the scenes of that movie, but Garland took over as directing, and it shows. It shows. I mean, it's totally his style. Okay, I just got yes, Charlie. I just got done watching Devs. I finished the last episode last night, and you're absolutely right. Just a chef kiss. Alex Garland is one of the most unique storytellers out there. Okay, I mean, technically he's only done 2 movies in one series, but I think I say Dread is his movie because if you watch Ex Machina and you watch Annihilation and you watch Devs and then you watch Dread, you could tell that's the same director right there, just his style. He has a very unique style and a very unique way to tell a story. And Devs was perfect for him because he could tell a story within less than 8 hours, like 7 to 8 hours. And I recommend Devs. Really thought-provoking, man. So really thought-provoking. And I just love the way that he looks at life through like the lens of sci-fi. That's the thing. That's what I really like. Like he looks at life, but there's just that big sci-fi element. When it came to Ex Machina, he was kind of looking at life in the way that, I don't know, I guess people approach relationships, but it had to do with AI and robotics and, the way that whole thing. And Annihilation was like a sci-fi event, like an alien presence, but looking within yourself and everything. I don't know. There's just so much to do. And Devs was just all about, Silicon Valley and quantum computing and how far it can go and how far it does go and the way to look at life for, with all that. I won't spoil it for anybody. Thank you, Mr. Edgy. What's going on? Cheers, brother. Yeah, Devs is good, guys. Well, I guess I'll be on the lookout for Nikki's questions about Oh yeah, that was on Film Junkee. She asked about She asked about my personal life. That's all. Because I'm so busy, because I do multiple things. So she was just asking about that. And I was like, Film Chunky Live, not exactly the place to do it. Here's the place to do it. Okay. When I don't have a guest. That's what it is. Wait, what? Somebody called Gal Gadot a Nazi? No, that's a new one. Nah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah. See, Annihilation is one of those sci-fi with actual science. Yeah, I mean, he goes into detail, even in devs. He like explains they explain things, and it's just beautifully done. Beautifully done. Like the visuals, he's got a visual signature, Alex Garland, and then I don't know, just the way that he tells a story with the music, which the music is always just so strange, but it's so good. Like I want the soundtrack to Devs, I want the soundtrack to Ex Machina, as well as Annihilation, and even of course Dread. Like I said, Dread is his movie. It's totally his movie, 100%. So I know. It wasn't. Don't worry about it. It was something old. It was something old that somebody said. Yeah, it's very. It's that certain individual is a little disturbed. That's for sure. The Alamo has filed bankruptcy. Oh yeah, the Alamo Theater. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. It's very interesting. But anyways, let me. I think we've done enough little chat in here. I'm gonna. Boop. Okay, so let's get our guests in here a little bit here. But anyways, yeah, Alex Garland, fantastic, and I highly recommend Devs. I'm just saying, highly recommend Devs, and yeah, watch it, guys. Oh, thank you, Mr. Jose. Dave, thoughts on Ayer saying there was a yeah. He said, yeah, I remember he posted that. He said it was on hold, but you think I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, when it comes to him doing Gotham City Sirens, it's gonna be I don't know. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Because it just doesn't seem like they want to deal with that anymore. But I like what he had to say. Anyways, guys, let's bring in the guest. She is here, and let's bring her in. Miss Zealand, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you? Okay, thank you for having me audio.
On. No problem at all. This is actually the first time we've actually spoken.
Yeah, in person.
Yeah, in person. Well, I guess digital person here, but yeah, we've spoken through DMs. Obviously, you were recommended by Mr. Eric Z, who is actually in the chat right now. He recommended me to you, and I was like, okay, yeah. So thank you for bringing us together, bringing our nerd brains together. This is what we're trying to do here. So, but anyways, Miss Zia Land, aka Zia Anderson, how's it going?
It's going. It's going. It's been like a weird long day, but good.
Really? Why has it been a weird long day?
Because I woke up at 3, like one of those weird wake up at 3 a.m. and then can't go back to sleep until like 7. Yeah. Oh, I hate that. Yeah. And then I just passed out for another couple of hours, woke up all weird and was groggy for half the day, but like still had a bunch of shit to do. So it's just like one of those days where I was like, we're just going to get there. We're going to do it.
Just wing it. Yeah.
Coffee and jelly beans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're big on the jelly beans. I've noticed. Like I checked out your Twitch and by the way, guys, yeah, she is on Twitch. Let me go ahead and let's show all that stuff and go ahead and plug yourself. So here's her Twitch channel right here. You. Look at that. Yeah. Wait, is it working? Okay, good. So there's your Twitch channel right here. And I actually want to ask you some questions about Twitch because I actually just joined the Twitch sphere.
Nice.
Yeah, when I started doing more live stuff. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, your Twitch channel is Zealand. And I was looking at your bio and stuff like that here. You're doing a lot of stuff, that's for sure.
It's the LA grind. I feel like there's just no rest.
There isn't. Yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, I'm not in LA. I'm outside of LA, but I've heard about, that stuff. And I'm trying to like make my way into it, but at the same time, I don't want to like fully go into that space. That's what we're going to basically talk about here, is building a brand. I mean, that's what I was like, okay, I'm going to bring her on, somebody who's up and coming, trying to build a brand, but you've done stuff for AfterBuzz TV. I'm seeing right here, Popcorn Talk, movie, Marvel movie news and stuff like that. And then you also were part of a channel called Mega Cat Studios.
I write, shoot, and produce and edit the weekly dose of gaming news videos, which I really love doing.
And I noticed you were born in Hawaii.
I was, yeah. I was born and raised there.
Okay, so tell me about that. So born in Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii a couple times. My dad actually was stationed there. He was in the Army. Nice. So I got to visit there. And I must say, after going to the beaches there, going to the beaches here in California, wow, not so great.
Do we swear? Can we swear on here?
Yes.
I'm such a spoiled piece of shit when it comes to beaches and stuff and water. I went into the water once when I first moved here and I was like, well, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm like, this is gross. Yeah, I remember one time, like, it was the first time that I visited my dad, and we actually went to Waikiki, which is beautiful. I mean, you can, it's blue. You could see out to, just blue. You could see your feet in the water. The sand is like white. And then I come back, and like a week or two later, I go to, I think, Huntington Beach, and I'm just going, wow, this is fucking gross. This is gross. I see like oil refineries in the distance. There's a power station over here, and everything's just gross.
It's true. It's just not the same. It's not the same. I'm not from Oahu, is where like Waikiki is. And I've been there, but I'm not from there. I'm from 2 islands over. So there's the Big Island, which is the island I'm from. That's the one with the active volcano. And then there is Maui and then Oahu. Usually people go to Oahu, which is like Waikiki to the North Shore. So that's like pretty much what people know, or Maui. But Hilo is a lot more local, but just as beautiful. We have like black sand beaches. We have a green sand beach, which is really cool. It's like all these little, I think it's called olivine in the black sand. So it's super bright green, but it's definitely a very different place to grow up.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, just being there for like the couple of days that I was there, I'm just like, it's interesting because when a lot of people go, when they think about it, that aren't, that weren't growing up there or anything, you almost think like, oh, everything's just totally just, you can see the water everywhere. There's palm trees. I'm like, no, there's freeways in Hawaii. You drive past and you could see like the rundown areas of some of that stuff. I mean, watch Dog the Bounty Hunter. I mean, that's one of the things that I always would watch. And I mean, he was in a lot of those really rough places. I mean, you don't feel like you're on an island unless you like go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I am on an island right now. You don't think about it because there are freeways and everything, just like on the mainland.
Yeah, it's definitely, the Big Island is definitely a bit more local. We don't have freeways quite like that. And you can't build anything over 3 stories there. Oh, wow. So everything, it's notched way down compared to Oahu, because you're right. It is a city. They do have freeways. It's crazy.
Everything. Yeah.
They have everything. But you're right. Hawaii it's beautiful, and it's got its rough parts. Like anywhere else, it's super expensive. People talk about LA being expensive. When I first moved here, I was taking pictures of food and sending it back to my sister and being like, look how much bread is here. It's like $3 a loaf. Like, amazing how cheap everything is. Yeah.
Oh, just like, imagine ridiculous. Imagine if you like, when you go to places like, even like places like Nevada, they don't even have a state tax. I mean, that's also, I don't know. You go to a restaurant there and you see like the tax on the receipt. You're like, wait a minute, the tax is only 72 cents.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy. And I totally understand what you're saying, because that was one of my dad's biggest complaints, was like, it's so expensive there. But I mean, you have, look at what you have too at the same time. There's some, give or take, but at the same time, I think when it came to the time when his time was spent there, he was like, all right, it's enough, time to go back to the mainland. And so he was kind of over it after a while, but you know, but
yeah, you get island fever too. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
like I love it there. It's my home. I was born there. I was raised there. My family's there, but you're like, oof, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. How often do you visit there?
I haven't been home since I moved. It's been 6.5 years.
Oh, how dare you?
I know. It's expensive. That's the other thing. Like you get like caught in this weird like LA sort of rat race, and you're just working and like constantly doing whatever you're doing, and you're like, holy shit, dude, I don't have money or time to like stop and take a trip. It's just a lot.
I could see that. I could totally see that. I mean, yeah, it's expensive. I mean, and it's a long plane ride. You're gonna obviously, if you're gonna go there, you're not gonna go there for like a weekend. You're gonna go there for at least a week, and try to take that time off when you're trying to build your stuff and build everything that's that you're doing right now. So you moved to LA. You said 6.5 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay. So what made you decide to make that jump?
Honestly, it was just to get out of there. It was I wasn't doing great. Oh, I almost choked on a jelly bean.
Don't do that. I mean, the video might go viral, but don't do that.
It's just, what's up with this stupid girl choking on jelly beans?
Yeah, jeez.
Fuck. Yeah, no, I wasn't doing great there. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing with my life. I did work in an MMA gym, and I did really love that. I worked for BJ Penn.
Okay.
And that was awesome because that's where he's from, if anybody's a UFC fan.
There's a bunch of nerds in here, of course.
Right. Hey, you can be both. I love fighting.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan once choked on a jelly bean. Sorry, that's funny. I just pulled the chat up and saw that, and I was like,
it's fine. Yeah, see, so there you go. You're right up there with Ronald Reagan.
But yeah, so I just decided I needed to get out of here. My dad had moved to LA about 3 months before I did, and I was like, hey, I'm coming over, and he's like, oh, cool, how long are you staying? And I was like, yeah, no, I bought a one-way ticket.
Ooh,
and so
shit.
Yeah, he was basically like, well, we got a couch for you, and I was like, all right, cool. And so I just kind of came out here, and then he moved up north to try to make some money, and I got a roommate, or moved into a house with roommates, and I've just never left.
Yeah, moving up north, is that so what, like Sacramento, San Francisco area?
Near San Francisco, but in more, like a couple hours away.
Okay, yeah, it's way more expensive up there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he bought a place out in the boonies to do some.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Yeah,
stuff. What kind of stuff?
I mean, he does it legally now, so I guess it's not like he can get in trouble. Okay. But yeah, he's done that my whole life. That's what he's always done.
It's a good business to get into.
Yeah,
especially now. Exactly. No, but it's very expensive up there. I have some family up there, and then I had a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who moved up there just on a whim because he actually helped grow Lyft. I have a friend of mine. He actually really helped grow Lyft when it was really small. And this was, of course, years ago. And he moved up there and really tried to expand it up there, which he did. But it was just so expensive up there. I mean, for shit's sake, you get a studio apartment or just rent out a room, and it's like $1,900 to fucking $2,500 just for like a small room. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Yeah. So he didn't last. He was up there for about 2.5 years, maybe 3, and now he's back.
That's not too bad. I lived in San Francisco for 6 months, very briefly, to work at another MMA gym because I got offered a job there. Yeah. And I went and did that, and I was like, you know what? This is not worth it.
Not worth it.
This is not cool. I don't like it, and it's cold.
Yes.
Get the hell out of here.
That's true. It actually, no matter like whether it's like the heart of summer or whatnot, like during the nighttime, we went to a Giants game, and it was like, whoo, it got a little chilly. A little chilly. Yeah. No matter what, you're right there on the water. So
yeah, and it's always windy.
Yes.
I told you I'm a spoiled piece of shit. I'm just it's cold and it's windy.
Yeah, so spoiled, this one right here. My God.
Such a brat.
God, it's such a brat. But so you're in LA and you're trying to just I don't know, just do your thing. So
yeah,
when it came to, I mean, you have a very unique name for sure, Zia. That was the first time I've ever seen it, Zia, before. Like,
my mom is responsible for that one.
Well, thank you, Mom. I mean, geez. I mean, one of the things about, trying to build your brand and trying to do whatever on here, I mean, it's especially when it comes to gaming, which is what you do. And I was just, talking to the kiddies over here in the live chat, that I could easily jump into the gaming sanction of all this right now if I wanted to, but I just don't have the time because, I grew up, of course, on Atari. At first I had Atari, I had Nintendo, and I had Super Nintendo and all that stuff. Could easily fall into it. But if I do, my videos would suffer, because I'm so busy right now. But if I get to a point where I definitely will. Now, when it comes to the Twitch world, how long have you been doing Twitch?
Not long, 3 months. I started in January.
Okay.
Where am I? My fourth month then?
Yeah, this is a 2020 thing. Especially with everything that's happening right now. People are watching, streaming, everything right now, of course. So it's actually the time to do it. I think that's why I decided. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go right into the live stuff. Why not? I do a lot of just the normal video stuff, but let's get into the live stuff. So you joined Twitch in January. How's it going?
It's going okay. It's Twitch is one of those things that it takes time to build, and you have to do it consistently. And I'm honestly kind of with you. I time wise, I wish I had more time to play and stream. I only stream 3 days a week, and they're not particularly long streams, and it annoys me that I don't have more time. But between that and working, and I feel like, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Opie and Anthony. Are you at all familiar with them? I am. Oh, okay. Do you remember their old producer, E-Rock?
E-Rock. It sounds familiar. Yeah.
He was our producer for years, but I also do a show with him.
Oh, wow.
And so I do that, and then I do Marvel Movie News. I was doing Marvel News Daily. I was doing Marvel TV Weekly, plus my jobs. And then I started adding streaming onto that, and it for a while I was only streaming like once a week, and then I added a second day, and then I added a third day, and it is good time, but I wish I had more time to play and stream. But it's still, I'm glad I'm doing it. It's slow building. But it's really fun. I love doing it. It kind of combines the two things that I love, gaming and hosting, into one thing. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed, when it comes to gaming, I always like my nephew, he's big on watching people game, and he actually wants to do streaming and, gaming and everything. And he asked me like my advice about stuff. I'm like, I really don't know about that aspect of all this, but I'm just, from what I've seen, it's like, well, just do it and then just add commentary to it, I guess. Like, I've done live watches of movies recently, which is a lot of fun, but at the same time I'm like, okay, I gotta keep kind of talking. I don't know, when it comes to when you're streaming your gaming and stuff like that, are you just like constantly thinking, I can't like fully concentrate and be silent, I gotta talk?
Yeah, that is something it's a bit of a learning curve. Sometimes it makes me a shitty player because I'm like watching chat and then I go off on a tangent and then I'll get distracted because I'm like, oh, hold on, we're doing things now. So it's a nice balance that you have to try to strike. And there are streamers who do it so well, because I watch a lot of streaming. One of my favorite streamers is Video over on Vinesauce. And he just does it so good. He's not even on camera. It's just the game, and he's just playing or talking over it, and it's like a podcast that he does while he's playing, and it's just so like smooth and effortless. Granted, he's been doing it for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years at this point, so he's good at it, and he's got a very decent following. But it's a real art form. It takes some practice.
Yeah, I guess with everything, it's like exercising. You got to build that muscle. You really got to build that muscle, and how you build that muscle is just putting the time in. Like,
exactly.
When I started doing this live stuff, I do Film Junkee Live, Monday through Wednesday every night. I've been doing the Vodka stream for over a year now, which was just always something like a laid back thing. Have people on or not, I'll just answer questions in the live chat. If not, I'll just sip my glass here until it's done, and then then the stream's done. It's very laid back. And then I was like, okay, let's just add more. Let's do more. I think that's what I was kind of missing when it came to my stuff, because I was like doing short videos, and I was like, I really wanted to exercise that muscle of being live, because it's a totally different beast. Like, if I do a normal video, I could do the jump cutting and really just go like, wait, that didn't sound right. Let me say it again. It's very easy to do all that, but when it comes to live, it's like you're live, and now you got to like really just be on point as much as you can, and then. When it comes to here, sometimes, even last week, and I had like a full panel of like 6 people on this thing, and just to try to, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, it's, friends of mine that I've always talked to that are all around, scattered around this very nation of ours. And it was definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, it's interesting especially when you have new guests on, like you or anybody else has come on. It's like, okay, you got to keep ask the questions, keep it flowing and everything. It's just a muscle that you really have to build.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one thing that I'm happy. The shows that I started doing were live, because AfterBuzz shows are all live. So that was what I very first started with. So that was nice practice. And it's nice practice because you can do it with other people. Every once in a while, they'll throw you in on a solo show. So it's kind of cool that you get to, it was good for me to start doing things live, because you really have to think about what you're saying as you're saying it. And if you mess up, you kind of just have to roll with it. It's like, well, I messed up, but we got to like make fun of it and keep going, because otherwise you can't stop the entire show because you fuck something up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many times. There's been times where I think I had a moment recently, actually, when they were talking about. I think I had the topic about Hayden Christensen possibly coming back for Obi-Wan. Yeah, I think we could jump into some Star Wars talk here. I think it's time that we jump into this. But and then I talked about Ahsoka. Because I'm not familiar with the. Yeah, exactly. I was talking about how Rosario Dawson might play her. It hasn't been fully confirmed yet or anything. No, but I said I said the name wrong because I'm a bad nerd. I've only watched a handful of episodes of Clone Wars. Yes, I know it's bad.
Okay. Same.
Yeah. See, so I haven't like really jumped into all that, but then of course they're talking about, Obi-Wan and of course the Mandalorian and everything. And I know you're pretty familiar with the Mandalorian because
I love the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Such a good show.
It was,
they did such a fantastic job.
Disney Plus, when it came to launching, it's like to have a show like that to bring people in. That was super smart. Of course, right after that, people are like, all right, I canceled. Don't need to watch it anymore.
There are so many hidden gems on Disney Plus, though. I started rewatching 2 shows that, first of all, I always knew X-Men, the animated series, still held up. I love that show. Yes. Yep, so great. Spider-Man's awesome. Another show that I used to watch when I was a kid that I fucking love and found it on Disney Plus and started rewatching it, and holy shit, it holds up, is Gargoyles.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
I'm gonna have to jump back in. Because I wasn't huge into it when I was a kid, but yeah,
I loved it. Yeah, I had it on VHS. I'd watch it over and over.
Oh, good old VHS.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to Disney Plus, I'm like, I'll have Boy Meets World reruns playing in the background as I'm working, because that was one of my all-time favorite shows on there. Yeah, it is a good show. But The Mandalorian, man. I tell you what, when it comes to that show, when everybody who wanted a Boba Fett movie spinoff or whatever, that's what we got. We got something similar. Of course, there's no Boba Fett in there, not yet. Obviously, now it sounds like we're gonna get some. We're gonna get the Fett Man, and hopefully we can get. I always make fun of the fact that how did Boba Fett become such a popular character when he was barely in the original movies, and he just died so instantly.
I rewatched the entire trilogy recently, I want to say a year or 2 ago. And I came to the same conclusion. I was like, wait, like everybody knows who Boba Fett is and you grow up knowing it, but I was like, why?
Why is he so badass and why do everybody love him? Like he literally in Return of the Jedi, you see him and then all of a sudden he like launches out and then he just falls right into, I always forget what that's called in the desert. There you go.
No.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, I get it. I had a brain fart last week when I couldn't even think of it. Somebody in the chat will, of course, say it, but I'm always like, what the hell? Yeah. What? I'm like, how is this guy so popular? I literally had a shirt at one point of like Boba Fett, like, because he's just like, why is he so badass? But he was barely in it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right, though. You're like, why is he so badass? But he's great. Yeah. Sarlacc Pit. It's hilarious though that people have been, since The Mandalorian came out, people have been talking about that and having him possibly come back in that character. It's literally since it came out, everybody's like, well, are we going to get to see Boba Fett? Like, man, people really want to see this.
I think it's always been probably always been on the drawing board. I think they always thought we're gonna have to have something. But what do you think? What do you think it's gonna be? Do you think it's gonna be flashbacks, or do you think he survived?
Well, according to some books that have been written, it is canon that he survived.
Okay, so there you go. So, I'm not familiar too much with the literature of Star Wars.
Definitely possible, but it could be in flashbacks. Who knows?
You know what? I think it's gonna be present day. I think he survived. I think the fact that if we already made Boba Fett this badass character, hey, he shot his way out of that thing. He blasted his way out of that thing.
He got out in like years, apparently. Like it took years, but he did eventually get his way out.
Well, they talk about how like that creature digests you over like hundreds and hundreds of years. So, so I guess it's a slow digestion, which is interesting. But so I'm thinking that he just figured out a way to get out of there, because to have it be flashbacks, I think that's too easy. That's way too easy. I mean, I can understand with the Obi-Wan series. Obviously, if we're gonna have some Anakin in there, it's got to be flashbacks. It's not going to be present day, obviously, because we know, obviously, that takes place in between 6 and 7. Yeah. Or was it 3 and 4? Yeah, 3 and 4, I should say. Well, wait. Yeah, it's 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4. It was like 5. It was either. See, I read all of this and I've forgotten because it's been a while. It was either 5 years or 20 years after.
Yeah, it's
the events of the third one.
It's after Revenge of the Sith. So I mean, obviously, we're not going to see Anakin come back. I mean, he's already Vader at this point. But I think they're definitely going to do. And I even said that too when I heard about the Obi-Wan series. I'm like, how is Hayden Christensen not going to come back to this? Because, I mean, yeah, he's probably steadily working, but a lot of B-roll stuff I've seen that he's done. It's he had a Netflix movie that was on like a few years ago, and I watched it. Yeah, he did. It was fine. it was a Netflix movie. I don't expect much. But and then I was just going, there's no way, like, why he hasn't aged. He looks great. I mean, he looks like he hasn't aged at all. I mean, same with McGregor. I mean, did I say Ewan McGregor? Yeah. I almost was like, wait, I was thinking the fighter Conor McGregor. I'm like, wait. Anyways, but yeah, and I'm like, they both have aged very well. So obviously they're going to make Ewan older when it comes to like initially, but they can do the flashback and just have him be what he looks like now, and have like those moments of him and Anakin together. And that's what I think they're going to really work with that Obi-Wan series.
That makes sense. Funny that you say that. I actually waited on Hayden Christensen not that long ago.
You waited on him.
Yeah, I used to work in a restaurant.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's what I wanted to actually ask you about too. Like, obviously you're doing all this stuff and you're doing multiple things here, but sometimes it doesn't always pay the bills. And that's one of the things that when I get asked about, hey man, I want to start a YouTube channel and this, that, and this, I want to make it, something. I'm like, okay, well, don't expect it to be instant. Sometimes it could happen. I've seen the people that have a viral video, but then all of a sudden they'll just go away. Or they'll capitalize on it and somehow work it in, and all of a sudden that's their career right there, which is it's awesome. But sometimes it could take some time. So a lot of YouTubers out there will have day jobs. I have a day job. You have a day job. What is your day job? Obviously, it was waiting tables, and you said obviously working at an MMA kind of gym thing.
Yeah, that I did in Hawaii though before I started doing any of this stuff.
Gotcha.
No, now I was waiting tables. Obviously, none of us can do that anymore. Which
Why
is a
not?
real bummer.
What happened?
What? We can't go outside anymore?
Interesting.
God.
It's crazy. It's been I know. God. I mean, it feels like it's been a lifetime almost. Like I'm trying to remember how things were. I can't even remember. One of the biggest things is like for me being that I love movies is like I'm like itching. I'm like, can I go to the movie theater yet and just like watch a movie?
Bad. And Tenet was supposed to come out soon, and I'm so excited to watch that. It looks fucking awesome.
I know you're just pouring salt on a wound of mine because that's my most anticipated movie of this year. I mean, Christopher Nolan, and just some mind fuckery that he's doing. When you see that trailer, you're like, what is happening? What is happening? And who knows what's going to happen with that? So you worked. What restaurant did you work at? Was it like a popular chain or
super popular brunch place? Like ridiculous. The Kardashians went there. Adam Levine went there. Wow. Yeah, like one of those places.
Wow. So you've waited on these people?
Yeah, I've waited on not the Kardashians for whatever reason. It just never worked out that way. But Adam Levine, yes, and he's actually quite nice. And Hayden Christensen was there with who was that girl he was with?
I don't know.
Dark hair one. She was something else.
I don't know. Somebody will Google it and throw it in the
yeah, they were together for a long time. But anyway, he's actually really nice.
He seems like it.
Yeah.
Like it. And you almost, I mean, obviously when it came, and it's so funny too, because you feel sorry for him when a lot of people were shitting on the prequels, with him. And I mean, I'll even say like, Attack of the Clones, I can't fucking watch that because there's just moments in there where I go, Rachel Bilson. That's who he was taught. Yeah.
Yes, Rachel Bilson.
Yeah. But I was like, sometimes I'm like, I can't watch Attack of the Clones when he starts talking about sand. I'm like, good God, what are you talking about? But Revenge of the Sith is actually good. It's good. When it comes to the prequels, Revenge of the Sith is good. But of course, he got a lot of heat for all that. But luckily, he got all the heat before there was before there was internet, before there was social media. I mean, there was internet, but not social media. Can you imagine the shitstorm he would have gotten if there was social media?
It would have been really, really bad for him.
Yeah.
As it was, I think it was pretty bad. Yeah, it was exactly. As it was already bad for him. I'm going to have to go back and revisit those movies because I have not seen them since they came out in theaters. Because after that, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I want to watch that. And I feel like people are going to be not happy with me. I think the only thing that I like that came out of Revenge of the Sith, the only thing that came out of that was now, of course, my brain completely.
It happens. What, him turning into Darth Vader?
No.
The lightsaber fight between him and Obi-Wan?
No.
Okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna Google it. It's gonna annoy the crap out of me.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, when I've revisited, I think I revisited pretty recently. I think because they were on TV mainly. Phantom Menace. I mean, it has its good moments. I love, Qui-Gon is the best character in that movie, and the fact that, and of course Darth Maul too, and that lightsaber scene.
Darth Maul. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, that's what you're thinking of, Darth Maul. I mean, I always kind of scratch my head when it came to George Lucas. I'm like, okay, you had two of the coolest characters, which was Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, and you killed them both in your first fucking movie. What are you thinking, buddy? Like, what are you thinking? I mean, of course, they brought back Darth Maul for the animated stuff, and then, of course, he made a little cameo in Solo, which was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, there could be more at that. But I mean, when it came, the casting choice for Jake Lloyd, he's just like the way he spits out some of those lines. It's just bad. And Jar Jar, of course, we can all talk about Jar Jar.
I think everybody can. I actually know someone that likes Jar Jar, and I was like,
what is wrong with you? And now you're not friends with them anymore, right?
I love them. It's the problem. I'm like, I love you, but good God, man.
Don't ever speak about Jar Jar again.
We don't talk about old shit. Uh-huh. It's been way too long since I've seen them, mostly because I watched them once and was like, this is enough. But I will say it's time for me to revisit them because I thought that the last few movies besides Rogue One that came out were pretty much a train wreck. I was not a huge fan.
Oh, really? You're not a fan of the new stuff, huh?
Not really.
I'm glad you said Rogue One because Rogue One was actually a gem. It was a gem. It was a gem. Like, even with the fact that it saw like, some studio fuckery and everything, and they reshot some stuff. But the fact of the matter is like one of the best scenes in that movie was a reshoot, which was the Darth Vader scene, which I don't know about you, but that was just like,
it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it on opening night and the whole theater was like, it was like a concert. People were standing up going, fuck yeah, oh my God. Like, yes. And then I was like, okay, this is the Vader that we kind of want to see, where he's just fucking people up. Mm-hmm. And it was a beautiful scene, and it led beautifully right into episode 4, which of course was Leia. I mean, of course, people have their reservations about that, but Rogue One was probably, one of the best. I mean, I'm a fan of Force Awakens. I like the fact that it was familiar. It had nostalgia, as well as it introduced new characters. I think that was the strongest one out of the new trilogy. Last Jedi was hit or miss. I like the ambition of it. I don't know how you felt about what. Okay, first off, Force Awakens. Give me your critique on that.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It just felt a lot like
Same
A New
beat.
Hope. Yeah. Like,
Same
wait, I've already seen this movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was terrible. The last one really bothered me the most. And these aren't things I've watched multiple times. I feel like to critique a movie really well, you have to watch it multiple times, I think. And so when I've watched something once or twice, I'm like, I really need to watch it 2 or 3 times to really give good critique on it.
Yeah.
But the fact that I didn't want to go watch it again, I feel like wasn't a good sign. I watched it once and I was like, you know what?
That's it.
This is okay. I think I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, Force Awakens, I think it hit the right beats for me, because I was like, I like that familiar, the story beats, but it was like, okay, new characters, and then we got some familiar characters, and I was really like, okay, I think, I mean, yeah, everybody's opinion, it's all subjective, perfectly fine, and I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I thought they kind of nailed where the starting point of it, but then I think they didn't know where to go from there. That's the thing. It's like, when it comes to the original trilogy, I mean, it was all, I mean, even the prequels, it's all George Lucas. No matter what you say about the prequels, even George Lucas had one vision, and it's all pretty consistent. When it comes to this new trilogy, it's not consistent. It's not really consistent at all.
No.
And I think, I think when they gave, what's his nuts? Ryan Johnson, the keys. He wanted to do something different, and I totally respect that. And I like some of the things that he did when it came to Last Jedi, because he was like, okay, we can't just do I'm not going to do Empire Strikes Back 2.0. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Okay. I want to do something different, even though you could kind of almost be like, well, I mean, it is still about a young Jedi going to a remote place to learn from a master Jedi. Still had that same beat, but he wanted to really do something different, and he did, with the whole Leia thing, with the whole, just the way to take the Force powers and everything, and I respected that. Did it all work? Not necessarily, but what are your thoughts on Last Jedi?
Well, again, The Last Jedi was okay. See, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I saw it in theaters, and so it was like, okay, this is cool. You know what I think my biggest problem with these movies is that within the Star Wars universe, I think that there are other stories that we could tell. And revisiting stories that we've already seen, for nostalgia, it was great. No, you're right. Like, going into seeing it, you're like, oh, this is bringing back these nice feelings. It made me want to rewatch the original trilogy, which I did, and I was like, this is awesome. But when you do that and you go back and compare, it's hard not to. It's hard not to compare movies to something that you love. Any sort of remake to something that you watched as a kid or grew up watching and really, really loved. It's hard not to do that. I think that there are other stories to be told, and I think that's why I like The Mandalorian so much. I mean, among other reasons, is it's still tied into that universe and into that world, but it's not something that we've already seen. And I think that that's sort of what these lack, is like they're trying to find their own identity and their own originality, but they don't really have that.
They don't.
So I think that's,
that's the problem. And, especially nowadays with, now that you have social media, it's like, now you have just like a parade of fanboys that are like, that's not what I wanted. That's not, and they're pounding their keyboard.
Very true.
So then when it comes to the next one, especially when it comes to Rise of Skywalker, I mean, it was basically like, okay, when they brought back JJ, it was like, okay, Lucasfilm, Kathleen, whatever. Kennedy. I was almost like Turner for some reason. Jeez.
That was my first thought too. And I was like, wait, that's not right.
That's not right. No, not her. But Kathleen, when it came to bringing back JJ, you knew that they were like worried. You could tell, even though like I dug what JJ did, and I'm like, okay, that could probably work. But you could totally tell that they were essentially worried. They were scared because of the backlash that Last Jedi got. And even though I like the fact that they broke down, Luke's character and kind of made him, a character that people weren't expecting. And, and that's one of the things I always said. It was like, yeah, okay. When it came to him holding the lightsaber and then he tossed it over his shoulder, were you expecting that? And everybody goes, no. And I'm like, yeah. So I respect the fact that Johnson was like, I'm going to do everything that people don't expect. And I totally get that. Does it all necessarily work? No, it doesn't. And I totally get that. But there was a lot of aspects in there, when she goes into like the cave and, You know, she's trying to figure out who she is and who her parentage is. And one of the things too that always bugged me, that people were like, wow, Kylo Ren just said like she was like a nobody, like her parents were nobody. I'm like, no, that's not the way it is. They're setting you up. They're totally setting you up.
Yeah.
You know, like he's lying to her. And then of course they changed it probably for Rise. I think initially they had like another idea. Like to me, I always thought that Rey was some kind of clone. I don't know. I always thought that she was like a clone, that they used DNA from Luke's hand, you know, that was wrapped around his lightsaber that got sliced off in Empire. My theory was always like, you know, because obviously in Force Awakens, Maz, whatever her name is, found the lightsaber. I'm like, okay, well, where's the hand? Yeah, I mean, that thing had a death grip, literally, because it got sliced off. So somebody had to peel off that hand. And did somebody take some DNA out of it? And then when it came to Last Jedi, she goes into that cave and you see like a bunch of her and she's like doing like the snap thing and going on. I'm like, yeah, is this like a symbolism of, yeah, there was many clones of Rey and she was the one that made it out alive? But sadly, that's not what happened. I don't know if
Palpatine.
Yeah, I know. And I kind of thought that was a big cop-out.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if first of all, it was disappointing that they went with this whole Snoke storyline and then scrapped it. And then we're like, oh no, it very much felt like they were like, oh, we have to come up with something else because they got rid of this storyline. And now it's like, well, what are we going to do? Well, let's just bring back Palpatine.
I know.
And that's kind of how that felt. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the things like that now I talk about, it's like, wow, it seems like Palpatine is like the main villain of all three trilogies, if you think about it.
Yeah.
If now with this new one, it's like he was behind the scenes this whole time, just like orchestrating all this. No, come on. And I know, I mean, as much as it was like a shock to people, I'm like, it could have been. I think it was a last minute change. I don't know.
It really felt like that to me too.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, as cool as like, you know, okay. So when it comes to Rise of Skywalker, what kind of problems did you have with that?
Well, that was a big one.
Go for it. The floor is yours.
Again, it just felt like an entire movie that we just didn't need it. It didn't need. Good Lord, I can say words.
Yeah. What's in that cup you're drinking?
It's just water. I'm sober. I don't even drink. That's why I eat so much candy. It's literally just water.
Beans. I get it.
The jelly beans. I'm all sugared out.
Exactly.
Tweaking.
No.
It was that, and it just felt that weird thing that they kept doing with Rey and Ben. I was not a big fan of that. And then that kiss at the end, and they were like, no, that's not. I was like, oh God, why did we do that? And then they were like, well, it was like a platonic kiss. It wasn't romantic. And I was like, what? Like, just the entire thing felt so confusing. I don't really understand the point of any of it was. It felt like they didn't have an ending. They didn't know where it was going to go. And they just kind of threw it all together. And they were like, here, a movie. You're like,
yeah. One of the things that I when I talk about Rise of Skywalker, and I've seen it twice. I mean, I enjoyed it the second time. I took my mom. She enjoyed it. And I saw it like, okay, now that I know what I was expecting. I mean, that's with every movie. When you know what you're expecting, you can really enjoy a movie the second time. But at the same time, sometimes it could actually be like, wow, I saw a lot of the shit that I was like didn't see before. My God. But so when it came to Rise of Skywalker, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I was like, there's just these certain beats. And I think at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, when Poe, he's in the Millennium Falcon, and they're what do they call that? Space, like they're warp. What is it? Like light speed skipping? That's what he calls it. Like, they just keep on when they're trying to lose.
Yeah, and they just warp and then pause and then warp.
On just like light speed and boom, boom, and they call it like light speed skipping. I'm like, that was pretty much a metaphor of the whole fucking movie, if you think about it, because it was like everything was just boom, 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 go, go, go. Oh yeah, look at that. What's his name? He was actually a spy. Okay, and now you're gonna shoot him, and then he's dead, gone. Okay, who cares about that? It's like, what? That was kind of cool. Like there was a twist, and now you're just gonna leave it behind. And Chewie gets kidnapped, and then all of a sudden it's like, they rescue him, and it's just everything was so quick. And it's like, okay, maybe you guys should have probably spread this out more over like a longer movie or possibly 2 movies. I don't know, but I think it was just like they just didn't know where they wanted to go with it. And like I said, when it comes to the Palpatine thing, it was an easy like cop out. And I don't think that was initially where they wanted to go. And to be honest, like there was some of that was cool, like the darkness of it and the way that all that was shot. But when it comes to Ben, you know, when he finally had his redemption at the end, I was like, you know, you could have had a whole movie with that. I think a lot of people would have dug that. I don't know how you feel about that when he actually had his redemption and he was a good guy at the end.
Well, it was incredibly predictable.
Yeah, it was.
It was one of those where you're like, yeah, I knew that was happening.
So don't save it at the end. Just make a whole movie where he's for pretty much a good guy. You know?
I actually would have preferred that.
Yeah.
They teased it enough in the last movie that they could have done it in the beginning of the Rise of Skywalker, and you would have been like, okay, got it.
Yeah, because I mean, there were so many like. I mean, all of a sudden he was like, "Oh wow, you're not an emo, you know, piece of shit fucking guy. I want to punch in your nose right now." Because, you know, when he have his like little tantrums, it was like, okay, cool, he's a bad guy, get it. But when he became just Ben Solo and he kind of like brought in some Han Solo with him, I mean, like literally that when he gets like the lightsaber and he pulls it out and he's about to take on the Knights of Ren and he does that little shrug, I'm like, that's what I wanted to see. More of that, please. More of like funny kind of Han Solo-ish Ben Solo who's wielding a lightsaber. Whole movie about that. You should have just maybe at the end of the last one just had him turn to the good side, but it just took way too long for him to get to that point.
And it was so anticlimactic. It was like this big thing and they made it so like, oh wow, and you're like, yeah, but I knew this was going to happen. So this isn't a wow.
Yeah, just lean into it. Like if everybody's expecting it, just lean into it and then have a whole movie where everybody's cheering on Ben Solo. I mean, that would have been something unique, because at the same time, it's like when you had the original trilogy, it's like you knew that you probably had it in the back of your head way back whenever you watched the original Star Wars trilogy. It's like you knew Darth Vader was going to eventually turn good when you knew who he was. You knew, but that was climactic. It was great the way that ended, even though you knew that he was going to turn good. So it's like, okay, let's not do that again with this new bad guy. Just have him turn good and just have a whole movie where he is good. Don't take so long to do it. I mean, as much as I love the when Han Solo shows up in like his head and kind of tells him, and then he throws his lightsaber out there, it's like, hey, you could have did that in two. You could have did that in the second one, and it would have been a lot better.
And it would have been nice to see some of the Han Solo influences on him, because it was his dad, but you didn't get to see any of that. All you saw was this broody emo kid, and you were like, well, where did
yeah. And then like I said, when it came to that last part, you saw that Han Solo sarcastic humor show up. I mean, even when he like jumps and he grabs onto something and it hits, he kind of goes, ow, you know, and it was a funny moment. I'm like, yeah, okay, now you have a sense of humor. You're not a fucking fuddy-duddy anymore. And I'm like, I wanted a whole movie on that, to be honest. So yeah, it just seems like Rise of Skywalker there was just too much happening with it. Too much. They were probably, you know, producers are probably like, oh, put this in there, put that in there. And I don't even really like the end as much as I like some people do. I don't know how you felt about the end where she buries the lightsabers and then she sees the Force ghosts. How'd you feel about that?
I kind of didn't like it that much. It's like, I hate to be I never will shit on someone for liking something. If it just because I thought it was bad doesn't mean, like I hate those people who are like, no, it's bad. Like you said, those crazy keyboard warriors who get all nutty and like, it's calm down. But I think it's nice to be able to critique things and talk about it. But I did not like that.
It just didn't feel earned. It didn't feel earned to me. Like, and then she goes like, Rey, and then she looks over and it goes, Rey Skywalker. And you knew that was going to happen. And it was just like, cool. But it just felt like I said, going back to the whole thing that she was like a clone from Luke's hand. I'm like, because I remember a long time ago, before Force Awakens even got the title Force Awakens, I remember hearing a rumor that the MacGuffin, you know, the MacGuffin of the new Star Wars trilogy, which is like the artifact that they're going to find, was going to be Luke's hand. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And I remember doing a video about it, and that video fucking took off too, which was crazy. Like that many years ago, took off because people were like, "Oh my god," and people were like, thought that was like that would have been a cool little thing, like Luke's hand, like they're looking for Luke's hand. So that's why I was always like a fan of like the fact that maybe somebody found it, used it, you know, for the cloning thing. And of course there was cloning in Rise of Skywalker, but then they just kind of oh yeah, we made Snoke. Snoke was a clone. Really? That's it? Ah.
Yeah, that was again, I feel like that was a storyline that they were going to follow through with. And then when What's His Face took over, they're like, we're not doing that anymore. And it felt so clunky and clumsy. You know, another thing about that I always forget about until I start thinking about the characters. I think what bothered me a lot was that I don't think they did a very good job of making me care about the characters very much.
True. Yeah. It not like the original trilogy, because the original trilogy, you really cared about those main three characters. You were like, oh, I want to see where Luke goes. I want to see him. I mean, he was just like this little, you know, he was complaining about, I don't know, droids and shit to his uncle and everything like that at first. And now all of a sudden he's becoming a Jedi. And Princess Leia, she doesn't want to have that princess thing anymore. She wants to help everybody. And Han Solo, who's like a guy that doesn't give a shit anymore, but all of a sudden he does give a shit. Those characters really just, I don't know, I think it just had such an impact when it came to you know, watching them. And I wanted that for the newer characters, but it just seemed like they just couldn't get to that point. I mean, I think when it came to when it came to Finn, there was like so much you could have did with that, because he was a stormtrooper. And I think JJ at first was setting that up. It's like, yeah, this guy was a stormtrooper. And I was always one of those people that said, oh, he's force sensitive. He's totally force sensitive because of the way he looks at Kylo Ren at that opening scene in Force Awakens. I'm like, yeah, he senses something. And Kylo Ren also sensed it too, but they went nowhere with it. All of a sudden in like the second movie, he's riding like this weird fucking horse with Rose.
Rose. Oh,
yeah. Like what is this in this casino planet? And I'm like, this whole subplot is horrible. Stop. That's one of the things that I hate about Last Jedi, is that whole subplot with Rose and Finn is just fucking terrible. And then they kind of briefly talk about it in Rise of Skywalker, that he wants to tell Rey something. And apparently it's the fact that he's force sensitive. But they never really do anything with it. And I'm like, you had 3 movies to do something with Finn that could have been something fantastic, and you fucked up. You dropped the ball.
Yeah. I also liked Poe, and I think they could have done a bit more with him as well. But he was just such a weird off to the side secondary character.
Poe is essentially like the Han Solo character, but as a pilot. You know, he was like that off the cuff. He flew with the seat of his pants. Really didn't give a shit. So I mean, he was that character, but they just, I don't know, they kind of sidelined him a little bit in Last Jedi. Yeah. Like all of a sudden it was just like, no, you can't do anything. You can't do anything in that. But I mean, my biggest gripe was just the fact that they just didn't do what they should have did with Finn. And they could have did so much with him.
I agree.
Yeah.
He could have been a really cool character. He had a really cool backstory. They set it up perfectly to do a lot with him in the films, and they did nothing. I
know. So frustrating, but at least we have Mandalorian. And going back to Mandalorian, it's like, hey, I mean, one of the biggest things, I mean, I remember watching was like the fact at the end of the first episode, when you see this, all of a sudden you see this baby Yoda character, and talk about just a stroke of brilliance right there from Favreau and all those guys. Was like, hey, let's have this character. We're not going to tell anybody. The fact that they kept that character under wraps, you know, even with like not even telling toy companies about it, you know, sacrificing all that much money. I mean, we're talking about Disney and Lucasfilm. They're all about getting that fucking money, obviously. Mm-hmm. And they just said, no, we're not even going to tell the toy companies. We're going to wait. And we're just going to surprise people with this character that is essentially a baby version of Yoda, and talk about just nailing it. Stuff like that. Yeah, no, they did a fan-freaking-tastic job with that. I mean, just first of all, how well thought out the show was from start to finish. Yep. Every episode was the
I was complaining when I first started watching it that the episodes weren't long enough. I was that person. I was like, I want to see more. They're not long enough.
3-hour epissodes. Come on.
Exactly. But that's just the I guess nerd inside of you, whatever it is, just being like, oh my God, this is so good. I want to keep watching this. But they really nailed it with the pacing. They did really well. They really nailed it with the character. They really nailed it with the sound. The score was so good for that. So good. But yeah, they did a fantastic job with making it its own story, but still tying it in with something huge and revealing it in like the perfect way. Again, in the beginning of the series. And they knew that they had everyone completely obsessed with Baby Yoda. And then I got a bunch of people kept getting mad, like, stop calling him Baby Yoda. He's not Baby Yoda. Yes, we know he's not Baby Yoda. That's for lack of a better word.
That's not his name.
We just don't know what the race is called. Calm down.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did a great job from start to finish with the whole thing. I had I'm trying to even think of critiques. I know I had some. I'm going to rewatch the series before season 2 comes out. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. To do the rewatch, but I thought that the acting was really good. Yes. I thought that there was the right amount of humor versus drama and moments of gravity. I really liked Gina Carano in this.
Yes, she was badass.
She was really badass. She was really good.
Jeez. And then the fact that it's like, okay, he's keeping the helmet on the whole time. I love that aspect of it. It's like, okay, until the last episode, he takes it up. What? Yeah.
Sorry, no, they just show his face once.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, good. That's what you're supposed to do. Good job. Yeah. Thank you for not just like doing that right at the first episode, which, you almost wonder about that because, you're like, oh, you got to see the actor. You got to see the actor. No, you don't. This character, and that's what I love. I mean, Pedro Pascal, he's awesome. I love that guy.
I also waited on him.
Oh, no shit.
He's so nice.
We could probably do like a whole stream on just waiting on celebrities here that we all love.
There's been actually quite a few.
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe we'll have to do that on a future one. But right now we're talking about Mandalorian and Star Wars for shit. No, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that Pedro. He seems like a sweetheart. I mean, when you see. I don't know if it was at Comic-Con, it was at some of one convention, and he talked about how he got the role for the Mandalorian, and he like walked into a room and he saw all the concept art, and he was all, so who am I playing? Am I playing that guy or that guy? And he goes, no. And they said like, no, you're playing the Mandalorian. You're playing the character. And he just like, and the way that he just explains it, I'm like, God damn it, man, you're just a fucking sweetheart. This is why we love you. You need to be in more things for shit's sake. But what are your expectations for season 2?
It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
It's going to be amazing. No, but just I love the dynamic that they managed to get with Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. Yeah. And what was his name? Din Djarin. That's the Mandalorian. That's his real name. I love the dynamic that they managed to get between the two of them. It's just I hate to be that person, but I'm that person. It's so fucking cute. So fucking cute. The whole not even just Baby Yoda, but their whole relationship. It's just amazing. He I almost started crying when he picked up the little ball that he took off of his gear and get to him. He's like, oh, this is yours, kid. They just did such a good job with that. And I can't wait to see more of that. I can't wait to see the more of two of them just traveling the galaxy, trying to find this race of Yodas, because we don't know what they're called yet.
Yeah.
To try to find this Baby Yoda's family, because obviously they age at such a slow rate that there's no way.
He's 50. That cute little thing is 50 years old, apparently 50 plus, whatever. I was like, what? But no, I totally dig that. And I think when I was talking about the Obi-Wan series and they were talking about delays and everything and the script, Kathleen Kennedy was like not happy with it, and there was talks about young Luke is going to be present in there, which I totally get, because obviously when you think about it, it's like obviously Obi-Wan was looking over young Luke, but at the same time you can't have he can't just pull out his lightsaber in front of young Luke, because that's just going to totally fuck up the canon when it comes to episode 4. And I think when it comes to the Obi-Wan series, and I think one of the issues that it has, one of the obstacles that it has to overcome is the fact that, first off, you have a character that's already well known. Okay, the Mandalorian, you didn't have that. It was a new character, kind of looked like Boba Fett, That's about it. Bounty hunters, everything. So you have Obi-Wan, and you already know this character, and you have the actor that played him in 3 movies coming back to play him. So it's like, okay, so you have that added pressure. Then you have the added pressure of, well, The Mandalorian was such a huge success. How do you make this a success? And I think the problem that lies in there is like, maybe that they were going to try to have the same beats of like, oh, you have Obi-Wan and a baby Luke, a little Luke that he's watching over. Are we going to have the same dynamic? And they probably went, no, we can't do the same thing. We got to do something different. The writers probably were like, let's do the same thing. And maybe that's what I'm hoping. I don't know. Of course, nobody's going to know the details, but that's the issue. I think that the 2 issues that they have when it comes to doing the Obi-Wan series.
I think that there's a really, really cool story that they can tell there. Yep. I don't know what it is, but there's going to be a cool story that they can tell there. And I think that they can do I'm a little bit concerned about having, look, Hayden Christensen was really nice. I'm not going to lie, though. I'm a little bit concerned about having him come back. I mean, I understand why, but I don't know. There's a cool story there that they can tell. I think that they just need to do it right.
Well, I think they're good. I mean, if it's definitely going to be flashbacks, and if they have one episode that is a flashback episode that has, Obi-Wan and Anakin doing something crazy that adds to the story of present day, that could be something really cool to dive into. And I think that's probably something that they are looking into, because when it comes to these series, the really good series that you watch out there's always seems to be that one episode that takes place in like a totally different time that somehow works into the present day timeline of this whole series. So I'm really hoping that they don't overdo it and just like there's constant flashbacks with Anakin, just have like one episode maybe, that is a total flashback episode that has to do with something that is happening in the present day, that leads into it. See, that they just need to invite me into the writers' table. That's all I'm saying right there.
You're like, I've got ideas for you guys. Don't worry.
I mean, I always have the ideas. But let's jump into the comic book universe. Are you Marvel or DC? I'm guessing you're more Marvel.
More Marvel. I like a lot of DC properties, and I like DC stuff a lot. That people keep asking in the chat if I'm following the Zack Snyder.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're gonna lead into, because I mean that's one of the things that that I cover a lot is the fact of you're probably familiar with what happened with Justice League a little bit. Yeah, the whole thing with Zack Snyder. You saw Justice League? I
did see Justice League. Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was okay. You know what? There are a lot of those movies that I feel like Batman versus Superman had potential. Again, when I saw in the theater one time, but a lot of those movies I feel like I liked more than a lot of people did. Okay. I enjoyed the Justice League. I liked the characters. The Flash is one of my favorite superheroes. Really, I actually really like the. I'm not caught up, but the what's that network CW show? I actually really do. I do like that show, but I like Ezra Miller as the Flash, and I thought that there were some good things about it, but maybe not put together so well.
Okay. So, I mean, basically, I think what you should, I don't know how you felt about Man of Steel. Did you watch Man of Steel?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. I would say, now that it's like a different kind of, a little older, go back to it, revisit it, I would say, and see what you feel about that Superman. And then if you're going to watch Batman versus Superman again, watch the Ultimate Cut, which is a half hour. It's a half hour longer. It really, it's crazy how much that half hour actually adds to the story.
Interesting.
Because, when I watched the theatrical cut, a few times and enjoyed it because, I'm a huge Batman fan. I'm all about that. And I love what they did with the character in there. But when you watch the Ultimate Cut, that extra half hour that was removed, there's so much things with like Lois Lane's character figuring stuff out, and then just little things. So I would suggest, doing that, watch the BVS Ultimate Cut and see how you feel, because it really just fleshes out the whole story. And you kind of go, oh, okay, so that's why that happened, or this happened, because the theatrical cut was just like, sometimes it was a little jarring of like, wait, what? what exactly is going on? What?
It seemed like they were jumping from kind of point to point, and I was like, should I be confused?
Yes. So watch the theatrical cut, or not the theatrical cut, sorry, the ultimate cut, and see how you feel about that. And then when it comes to Justice League, obviously, when we talk about studio fuckery, I mean, that was like one of the ultimate cases of studio fuckery, where when they saw the response of Batman vs Superman, they were like, maybe change it up a little bit. People don't like how dark it is. And then so Zack Snyder did try to make something, and then all of a sudden tragedy happened in his real life when it came to his daughter, and he had to step away. But at the same time, it wasn't exactly him stepping away. It was, he actually wanted to work more to like take his mind off of it. And then all of a sudden it was like, they were like, no, you got to step away. And we got somebody else that's going to come in, and they had Joss Whedon come in to do rewrites and basically try to remake the movie in 6 months, which is very impossible to do. And I mean, it shows, because when you see that opening scene in Justice League, it's like a cell phone shot of Superman. And at the time, Henry Cavill had a mustache, and they removed the mustache.
Yeah, I remember that.
You heard about Mustache Gate. I figured.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks a little funky.
Yeah, no, I remember leaving the theater and being like, what's going on with what happened there? I don't understand. Didn't it look weird? My husband was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, it looked weird when he was saying things.
Yeah, right at the opening. I mean, my smile is instantly turned into a frown, because I heard about such things of like, oh, they're going to remove his mustache. It's going to cost this much money. I'm like, they wouldn't do that. No way. They're not going to try to, and yeah, they try to basically reach. I mean, the movie that you saw in the theaters was about 2 hours and, I don't know, 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe. I don't know. But there's actually a 3.5 hour cut from Zack Snyder of a movie that's completely different that people are trying to get out. So that's why people are talking about the Snyder cut and everything. And I'm sure you've heard.
Oh, it's been going around on the internet for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everybody, even you, being the fact that you like comic books and comic book movies, you probably want to see maybe a better version, a long version of the Justice League doing some shit. I think that needs to be. Do you think it really exists? Yeah, it does. Yeah, for real, and they just really don't want to put it out. Well, I think so how this whole thing like unfolded, it's pretty weird, because when we all saw the theatrical version, of course, like diehard fans were like, hey, and even me, I was like, it's a good movie, just watch it like this. I mean, my whole thing was like, watch it like it's not a Snyder, like what Zack Snyder wanted to do. But if you watch like the animated Justice League movies, if you enjoyed those, just imagine that with this movie, but wrapped in flesh. I'm like, that's how you can enjoy it. But it's not exactly a Zack Snyder movie, because if you're a fan of Zack Snyder, you know that he wouldn't have put this piece of shit out. Certain things you could totally tell Joss Whedon did some things in there. I mean, speaking of Flash, I know you love, you said you love Flash. I mean, there's a part in there where Flash, tackles down Wonder Woman and kind of falls on her and has his head on her boobs. And I'm like, that's such a stupid joke, because he actually did that joke in Age of Ultron with Bruce Banner and Natasha. I don't remember that. So he kind of recycled that joke. Remember that in Age of Ultron when they were like having that party in the Stark Tower, and the robots started going crazy because Ultron started taking over. Yeah. So when they were all like in their normal clothes, like fighting them off, there's like a part where Banner gets Natasha and like, gets her down, and then his head literally falls on her cleavage. Yeah. So you're like, this has been done. Why are we doing this again? Yeah, exactly. So he recycled a joke. It's like, okay, you had it there. You're really going to do that here? Okay, interesting. But I mean, when it comes to the Snyder cut, I mean, the fact that you're a Flash fan, which I respect that, good, because he's like probably my second favorite, besides Batman. Besides Batman, he actually has a huge role of what he does in the movie when it comes to time travel, and him, of course, running as fast as he can to go back in time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Flashpoint. Exactly. I mean, look at my shirt right here. It's like about Superman and Flash racing against each other. And everybody, kind of goes like, well, who would win? And I always go, Flash. Because, Flash is that's a given. I'm pretty sure you probably say that
best man alive.
Exactly. That's why he considered that. Yeah. I mean, and as many times as, I mean, it's only been a handful of times that they've had that in the books, and it's usually a tie because that's how you satisfy comic book nerds, is like a tie. But at the same time, it's like Flash can literally run as fast enough to where he reverses time. Don't talk about that Donner, the Donner Superman version where he flies around the earth and reverses it.
Oh yeah.
As much as, like, that's cool. That's not really what Superman does, So, but I'm sure you would probably want to see something different than what you got with the Justice League movie, right?
Yeah, I would. I definitely would. I think that, I mean, yeah, if the Snyder Cut does it, well, I mean, I guess you're saying it does. I believe you. You. I haven't kept up a lot with a lot of the DC universe because I'm on so many Marvel shows that most of my time gets taken up with that. Yeah. So I watch all of the movies, but I don't have a lot of time to like sit and read a whole bunch about it. So I kind of knew of it, but not a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there. I mean, it's almost like a mainstream thing now. But I think when it comes to the fans of that universe, it's like, well, we just want to see something different. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Marvel movies. I mean, obviously, like you said, you're more about Marvel and the Marvel movies, which we'll discuss right now too. Is like, that's the popcorn CBM side of all this. And I think when it came to Snyder, he wanted to do something different, a little darker, a little bit like, hey, let's take some of these elephants and just give it some more depth. And I think a lot of people sometimes maybe didn't want to see that. But when it comes to the Marvel movies, I always say that's fine. Like, I'm not one of those DC guys that are like, fuck Marvel, fuck the MCU. I enjoy those movies. When it comes to the MCU, though, what would you consider like your top 3 MCU movies?
I feel like it's going to be kind of the same answers as most people. It's going to be Winter Soldier. It's going to be Civil War. And then the first Iron Man kind of just holds a special place in my heart because it was just kind of the start of it all. But I'm also not going to sit here and say that I thought that every Marvel movie was amazing. I don't like Captain Marvel at all, really. I thought it was not a good movie. I thought that the character was flat. I thought that I thought that Brie Larson's acting was flat. I don't know if that had to do with the direction. They did not do a very good job of making me care about that character at all. And I have a real issue with gender bending. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Stop it. Just stop. When they changed Marvel into Annette, I mean, like, I love Annette Bening, but fuck great. Right off. Like, what are you? Stop. Anyway, it's just it drives me crazy. That being said, I saw someone say Shazam. I know that they're talking about something else, but that just makes me think of the DC movie Shazam. I did see that 3 times actually. I like that quite a bit. Yes, I did. It was a really good movie. But I do like the darker take on things. Joker was awesome. I saw that twice. It really just depends on the movie. And I do like a lot of darker undertones. So the MCU has there's a lot of really good stuff that comes out of it. But there's a lot of things that I prefer about some other properties.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right with you with Winter Soldier. I think that's the best MCU movie. I mean, that movie just, the fact that they took like Captain America. I mean, I like the first Captain America movie, the first Avenger. It's a good setup. I felt that it was a little rushed at point because they were trying to get him to like, oh, we got to get him to present day.
Yeah.
So we got to get him to there. So I felt it was a little rushed, but I enjoyed like the origin of Captain America, and it was great. Yeah. And then Winter Soldier was like, oh man, you have this espionage movie that's wrapped around this superhero movie, and it's just, that elevator sequence alone is just, that's one of the best fucking fight sequences.
So good.
Jesus Christ. And the fact that at the end he kicks the shield up to his arm like he's fucking Marty McFly kicking up his skateboard. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful way to end that sequence. So I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah,
But Captain Marvel, I'm also with you on that because I did not enjoy that at all.
It didn't do a good job.
And the fact that, Brie Larson, yeah, she can be sometimes she could be, but she won an Academy Award for that movie Room. I don't know if you saw that movie.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I've never seen her in anything else, so I don't know if she's good in other things. And if this was maybe just a direction thing, I don't know.
She is. That's the
Stallone
thing.
Fan 03, Captain Mannequin. Yeah, sorry, that was just really fun. Yeah,
no, she was very robotic and very like you won an Academy Award. What are you doing? What is going on? Like, I would suggest anybody here and you to watch Room, because it is a good movie. Like, she does exceptionally well. Like, I could totally understand why she won that Academy Award. That's why it puzzles me. Like, what happened here? Why are you so wooden? Why are you so robotic in this role? It just like almost phoning it in sometimes, with even in Endgame when she showed up. It's like, yeah, I mean, I actually thought she was better in Endgame. I'm like, so maybe it was the directing. I don't know. Like, what did you think of her in Endgame?
She was okay. I didn't really think that she needed to be there. I feel like that was a weird last minute addition. I think that they should have saved her for phase 5. I don't really know why they kind of threw her in there at the end. They're like, here, she's here. Like, I know she was in the comics, but they're not following that very closely. So I don't think that we needed it. And then she didn't need to be there for them to win. There was like one moment where she's fighting Thanos and it's like, oh, she's going to win. But I don't.
Like, you don't need to hear him.
No, I would have much preferred Scarlet Witch to shine more, actually.
Yes.
I feel like they could have done a lot more with her.
They could have. They really could have. And hopefully she gets her, more, in the spotlight with the WandaVision.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's going to be good. That I'm actually really intrigued by, because just with everything that they've shown with it, I'm like, how do you not? I mean, this is something very unique, and it's going to tie into Doctor Strange too,
which I'm also really excited about. I'm excited. Yes. The things that I'm the most excited about, the other stuff, it's like, okay, I guess I'm excited to see what they do with the Eternals. I haven't read a lot of the Eternals, so that's not something I'm super familiar with, but it's like, all right, cool, I guess. WandaVision, super excited about. Doctor Strange, now that Sam Raimi is directing it too, also really excited about that.
Yeah.
And Blade. There's a moment on Marvel Movie News before they cast that. We were just talking, or before they even announced that there was going to be a Blade, where I said that Mahershala Ali would make an awesome fucking Blade. I have to go back and find that somewhere, because there's a point of me saying that. And when they announced it at Comic-Con, I was like, ugh. I was there. I'm so excited. I rewatched Blade semi recently too. Oh my God.
Those are so good. I just wonder, like, do you think that Disney is going to really go for an R rating?
I don't know. That's the one of the issues that I have, is that for some reason, and it's been proven that it works with movies like Logan. That movie, it was so good and it did so well. And I don't know. I think that, and I mean, obviously with Deadpool, it's something that they can do, but I feel like they're scared. They want that money. Like you said, it's that money. They want the money they want to open the audience to kids too. And they just can't seem to, I don't know. So I don't know.
Well, when it comes to Disney owning, like, I don't know, I think the number was like 38% of the movie industry now, which is like, wow, that's a pretty good chunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, even like Steven right here says that's what Feige said. PG-13 and you'll like it. That's what Feige said about Doctor Strange 2, which I think was part of the reason why Scott Derrickson dropped out, because he wanted to, he wanted to make it. I mean, Scott Derrickson, look at his filmography. I mean, he's made some dark stuff, and I think he wanted to inject some of that, and it just wasn't going to work. So, but I'm not to bring in Sam Raimi is like, well, that's not bad. That's almost like doing a step up. I mean, nothing against Scott Derrickson, great filmmaker, but to lose him and then get Raimi, I'm like, this guy made a Spider-Man trilogy before CBMs were like huge, before the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking evolutionized the fucking cinematic, almost, the CBM, so I'm all about that. And I like the fact, I mean, I'm also a Raimi fan of his previous movies. I mean, The Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead is one of it's probably my all-time favorite horror movie. But but when it comes to Doctor Strange 2 and everything, that's what I'm really, really looking forward to. I want to see, and WandaVision, I want to see where all that leads to, because that's something different to deal with the multiverse and everything. It's not going to have the same beats as some of the other MCU stuff where it's like, okay, you have this and then it goes like this, it goes like this. It seems like they can really challenge themselves and be something, different, I guess.
Yeah. No, and I think we need that. I think we need different tones in the MCU. Look, I love the MCU. I do. That's obviously, I got into Marvel movie news because I love those movies. Yeah. But it's sort of, dude, it's hard to watch everything, man.
Oh, it is.
It's so hard. Yeah. I don't have enough time. There's so many, my list of things to watch just keeps getting longer and longer. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Like I try to catch up on things. Like I just recently, before you came on, I was talking about, I just finally watched the Devs series that was on FX.
People have been telling me about that.
Yeah. Alex Garland, he's easily becoming one of my favorite filmmakers right now, because he's only had like 2 other movies, technically 3. I always say Dredd is his movie. I don't know if you saw Dredd,
the remake.
Yeah, the Dredd movie. You should.
I haven't. Yeah,
put it on your list.
It's
yeah.
Yep.
Your list is probably like huge.
Oh my God.
Put that towards the top.
Okay. It's
an excellent film, and it's not, it won't say directed by Alex Garland, but it was one of those like, the fuckery happened and the director was like, I'm done. And Garland stepped in. And if you watch his movies like Ex Machina, Annihilation, and Devs, and you watch Dredd, you go, oh yeah, that's the same director. Look at the style. He has a unique style in the way that he storytells and the way that he frames things and utilizes the score and everything. It's just totally him. And Dredd is one of those movies that, it's becoming a cult classic, and it needs, I really wish there was a sequel, or there was, they even talked about even like a sequel series, and Carl Urban was all about it, but sadly it hasn't happened. But luckily he's in there with The Boys. I don't know if you watched The Boys. Have you watched
also on my list? I interviewed the cast.
Wow.
At Comic-Con.
You really need to watch that. If you want to see something dark and morbid when it comes to superheroes, that is the series to watch.
Yeah, that's been on my list forever. It just keeps growing. There's so many things to watch, and lately I've been so busy with like either streaming or working or watching things I have to watch for certain shows. Yeah. But and lately I've been watching just an ass ton of YouTube because of this quarantine thing. I'm just like, Funhouse, just put on Funhouse, make me laugh.
No, I get it. This quarantine thing is crazy, and especially since you live in LA County and it's got extended for another 3 months. How did that feel when you heard that?
It's such a bummer. It's making me want to leave LA.
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't know. And it gets hard for me to get into things too, because I'll start something and then this like weird like melancholia sort of sets in, and I'm like, I can't, it's hard for me to get into things now, which sucks. Not that I really even have a lot of time to start watching a bunch of stuff. Although around the time this started, I did finally watch Altered Carbon, the first season. I need to watch the second season. That was a really good show. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched the second season either. I watched the first season. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very unique.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Hopefully you watched Tiger King. Did you watch Tiger King?
I watched 2 episodes of Tiger King.
And you were like, that's it. That's all I need.
It's interesting. Like, it's cool. But it's not, you know what I think? It got overhyped for me because everybody kept talking about it. And everybody kept going on and on about Tiger King. And I watched a couple episodes and I was like, yeah, this is pretty nutty. But it didn't draw me in enough for me to keep watching.
It's a shit show. I woke up on a Saturday and I was like, you know what? Okay, let me just do it. And I ended up binging the whole thing that day just because I was like, I needed it's interesting because it's a docuseries, but they do it in such a way where there's a cliffhanger almost like with and I just want to see what happens. And I was just like, so into the shit show that I was like, I'm just going to watch this whole thing. And I was like, you know what? I have nothing to do today. I'm going to do it right now, And I'm really excited to see the series. Like Nicolas Cage is going to play Joe Exotic. And I'm like, okay, I'm set for that too.
I'm actually probably going to have to finish that so I can watch him play Joe Exotic. Did you also see that there's going to be, what is it, a National Treasure? What are we on now?
3.
3. 4?
No,
I couldn't remember, but they're making another one.
I think they are. Yeah, they should, because I mean, those are fun movies, right?
Fun movies. They're I mean, granted, how old was I when I watched that? Like young, but it was fun.
No, those were good movies. I mean, like, I think there was only 2 of them. There was 3? There was 3 of them. Okay, so it's gonna be 3. I think
it's gonna be 3. Yeah, everybody's saying 3.
Yeah, because there was only 2, and I'm like, yeah, there should be a trilogy of those. Try to make it like that. But I'm a Nick Cage fan. I've been a Nick Cage fan probably since I think
Face Off.
What?
Face Off.
Face Off. Well, no, I was actually before Face Off was The Rock.
All right.
That was Michael Bay's first movie, and that's a great movie. I think that's actually my favorite Michael Bay movie, to be honest. Face Off, also fantastic, and of course Con Air, and then even like his crazy shit that he's been doing right now. Jesus Christ, he's been doing some really crazy stuff right now. One of the last things I'm going to actually ask you, I think we're probably going to wrap this up a little bit because we've been talking for a bit. But what was the last movie you thought you saw in the movie theaters?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
There you go.
I had to think about that. I was like, wait a second, what the fuck was it?
What'd you think?
I liked it for what it was. It was just fun. It was fun. I like James Marsden a lot, and it was like wasn't like amazing. It wasn't terrible. I never played a lot of the Sonic games, so it wasn't like I was going in with that nostalgia factor. But I liked it. It was just, I walked out being like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it too, and I thought I was like, okay, that is what it is. Yeah. I think my biggest gripe was I didn't like the voice actor for Sonic. I thought they could have. Yeah, like I was just. I can't even think of his name right now. I know he's a comedian too, and he's been in many things, which I've actually enjoyed with him, but I did not like him as the voice of Sonic. I think maybe I was a little spoiled with maybe Detective Pikachu, and I love the fact that Ryan Reynolds was the voice of Pikachu, and I'm like, who would have guessed that?
Oh, Ben Schwartz. Sorry.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz. There you go. I couldn't think of his name. Thank you.
I've also waited on him.
Jesus Christ. I'm telling you. All right, you're coming back on, and we're just going to have a stream where you talk about all the people you waited on. That's going to be that'll be fun. Yeah, but I think I was a little spoiled with the off the cuff voice for Pikachu, because you wouldn't think Pikachu, Ryan Reynolds, what the fuck,
Works though.
Yeah, and I love Ryan Reynolds. I mean, regardless, a lot of people go like, oh, he's just the same in all the movies. I'm like, so he's likable. That's just the way he is. He has that cadence to his voice, and it works. And I think maybe I was like wanting something a little more, outlandish like that. So I didn't like when it came to Ben Schwartz, he was just too much like, oh yeah, this is how I talk. And I'm like,
too animated, maybe.
Too animated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wanted Sonic to be a little more, just a little different. I mean, Jim Carrey, he was great.
Yeah,
mean, that's what made the movie.
Really good.
Jim Carrey was in Jim Carrey fashion when it came to he looked like he was having a lot of fun, and he was 90s Jim Carrey, the Jim Carrey that I always loved, The Mask, Ace Ventura. Very animated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's my whole take of it. And I did play those games too. Like when I go to my cousin's house, he had a Sega Genesis, and we'd play Sonic like crazy. So I think I had a little bit of nostalgia with that. But so I mean, I get what you're saying. Like you weren't totally into those games, but what's okay. Final question, and then we'll wrap it up here. What video game would you like to see adapted to a movie? Basically that. Go. Putting you on the spot, I know.
Oh. Can I name like 5?
Okay, you could do that, or it could be one that's already been adapted that was probably adapted shittily, because it tends to happen.
I don't give a shit what anyone says. I still like Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay. The original? Fuck yeah. High five. That's the best. That's still the best, bar none.
Yeah. Okay? I'm trying. Oh man.
I'm looking forward to the new one. See what they do with that.
You know what I would really, me too, actually. You know what I'd really like to see? This is going to sound really weird, but Oblivion. Although, you ever played that?
No, I never played that.
I love that game so much. I think that Oblivion would make an awesome, maybe more series like The Witcher. And Also super weird, but can we see Ocarina of Time in a movie? Would that be bizarre? I want to see that.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
that was the first game I ever played.
Is it? So that's near and dear to your heart.
Oh,
so that
yeah.
makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't know what that is. And when you said Oblivion, I thought about the Tom Cruise movie. There was a Tom Cruise movie called Oblivion, which wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it. But so there you go. I mean, when it comes to them adapting like a video game to a movie, I mean, it seems like that's one of the challenging things nowadays. When it comes to doing that to CBMs, it seems like they kind of found it. I mean, obviously, Marvel Cinematic Universe has found that. They bridged that gap. I think, when it comes to DC movies, a lot of DC movies have found their way of doing that too. I mean, you don't even have to necessarily like the newer stuff. I mean, when it comes to the Nolan stuff, what they did with Batman, of course, I like it. But when it comes to video game adaptations, I guess, I had high hopes for why am I like drawing a blank now? What's Michael Fassbender? Somebody's gonna say it. Someone's yelling at their screen right now. Yeah.
Someone tell us with Michael Fassbender, motherfucker. This is
what I'm talking about. Jesus. Yes. But I mean, some people want Gears of War and Metal Gear Solid,
BioShock too.
BioShock, Assassin's Creed. There it is.
Assassin's Creed. Yes.
I actually had high hopes of that because I've played Assassin's Creed and I thought, okay, that could really make a good movie. And I had high hopes for the newer one, and it had its moments, but overall, I was just like, what the fuck is that? It just didn't work.
I didn't play Assassin's Creed, so I didn't go into it with that, but just movie-wise in general, yeah, not great.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Prince of Persia, though. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
With
I know.
What's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. Like, that was an interesting casting choice for Prince of Persia.
Yeah. Why didn't you just cast a white dude?
Yeah. I mean, I know they always talk about that, but it was like, I mean, I get it because it's like, okay, everybody knows Jake Gyllenhaal.
Name recognition, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they mainly look at is like, okay, we got to put a fucking star in this thing to sell it. But at the same time, I'm like, what the hell were you guys really thinking, And when it comes to I mean, there's I'm really looking forward to the new Mortal Kombat that's supposed to come out. Hopefully, that's gonna blow our minds. Which is kind of, I don't know if you saw the did you see the animated Scorpions? What is it? Scorpions like Revenge or something like that?
No.
Oh yeah, there's like an animated Mortal Kombat movie that just came out. Like it's called Scorpions Revenge or something. Like somebody in the chat will
look up that.
Yeah, look up that. It's actually really good. Very gory, very graphic, and hopefully it's something what the new Mortal Kombat's going to be like. And because I remember they did make a sequel to that Mortal Kombat movie, and that was a shit show. I don't know if you saw that. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh God. It
was okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
That's just me being when I was a kid watching it, being like,
yeah. If you were to rewatch it again, you probably would have a different opinion on it because it is bad. Very bad. But anyways, go ahead and plug yourself, Miss Zia.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you feel so inclined at Zia_land. It's spelled XIA_land. And my Twitch channel is just twitch.tv/ZiaLand. I like food a lot, so I do a stream where I eat. It's a legit eating stream where I try different snacks and things I've never had before.
Nice.
That's on Sundays. Yeah, it's my favorite, one of my favorite streams. I'm actually streaming. Yeah, right? Where you just sit and eat stuff.
All right, jeez. Have a segment like that.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. It's like, ooh, I have to buy this for the show. That's what this ice cream is for. And I'm actually playing through BioShock for the first time also. So it's a blind playthrough. So that's been really, really fun. And it's a good time. So if you guys want to come check any of that stuff out. Also Marvel movie news over on the Popcorn Talk, also on YouTube.
There you go. And somebody even mentioned Twisted Metal would be a badass movie. Yes, it would. I played that game a lot when I was a young lad with my friends when I think that was like one of the first PlayStation games that came out, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm so lost on when games came out, I'm like, I had a PlayStation, I had a PlayStation 2, And then I didn't have a PlayStation 3, but I had a roommate that had PS4, and that's when I played the Batman Arkham games, and I got obsessed with those.
If you like that, and if you like those games and you like the Lord of the Rings, they had Shadow of Mordor, and then I think Shadow of War are two games with a really similar like fight style mechanics, and those are also really fun to play. I like Shadow of Mordor a lot better than Shadow of War. Am I thinking Shadow of War? I think that's what the second one was, but those games are really fun. But I believe those are Xbox. They might be, yeah.
I was literally at Best Buy looking at a PS4 because this is when the Spider-Man game came out. And I was like, I want to play this because I kept seeing people playing it. And I'm like, this is kind of like how the Batman Arkham games were. You have this whole world and you could do shit. And I'm like, it's Spider-Man, which is arguably probably my favorite Marvel character is Spider-Man. And I was like, I remember being at Best Buy, just staring down at a PS4, just going, I should buy it. Spider-Man. And then I resisted because I knew, I was like, this would take up too much of my time. And I think eventually I'll get there, guys. Don't worry. And I'm going to do the Twitch thing, which I suggest following Zia on that and watch her play games and everything like that, and I'll build up my Twitch as well. I mean, when it comes to Twitch, it's a different force. Like, I know there's followers and there's subscribers. I still haven't figured that part out yet. There's a different correlation between those, right?
Yeah. So followers, they just follow your channel. They can get notifications if you go live. It's basically just like following on any platform.
Yeah.
The subscribers are when they actually, they're Twitch Prime subs. So if you have Twitch Prime, you can use that as a free subscription to whoever you want. So those are always really cool, but also there are different tiers. So you can sub at $5 a month, $10 a month, and I think it's $25 a month. But you have to get to affiliate status before you can get subscribers.
Which I did because I guess after so many streams, I guess you can get to affiliate status.
Yeah, it's just a certain number of streams, a certain number of times, and then you need 50 followers, which is easy. So that's, and then people can subscribe to your channel and they can unlock things like emotes and you can do stuff like that. It's basically just a way to support you so you can keep doing that.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. I'll try to build it up. I mean, I know I'm not doing the video game and stuff, but maybe one of these days I will, but I'm just trying to throw anything I do live on there as well. So anyways, guys, so subscribe, follow Miss Zia right here. I appreciate you coming on to the Vodka stream. I think we're going to wrap it up here, guys. We've almost been talking for 2 hours. Well, 2 hours. Well, probably like an hour and 45, but I appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to do it again. Like I said, we're going to have to do a whole live stream about all the famous people that you waited on.
There's been so many.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying you got to come back and we got to talk more about the people you waited on. Anyways, guys, so here's my last little drink right here for the night. And like I said, she probably has a little bit left of water, maybe a jelly bean or two.
I spit out the cinnamon ones and I'm going to throw them in the trash where they belong.
You know what? Cinnamon, not so great for me. I remember I had actually a bad experience with hot cinnamon candy. It does not do well for me. It messes up my tongue a little bit. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. But there are some good jelly beans out there. But anyways, guys, appreciate you guys clicking in. You guys know where to follow me, subscribe, do all that stuff. And appreciate you guys clicking in. And I will talk